The title of this video is very true. I quit my job. Okay, so every single day I was getting up, working 13 hours a day, working 2 jobs. Okay, so basically I am currently still working, but I did quit my job. And what I mean by that is I had quit one of my jobs. Now please allow me to elaborate. I was working 13 hours a day. 13 hours a day, every day. While working all of those hours, I started to realize something, that making videos and working 13 hours a day, it just wasn't possible. This is the reason why I put out one video a week, is because I was working so much and I was getting very little sleep. And I started to realize something, that I wasn't really much prioritizing myself. Everything was just based around work. You know, I wasn't getting a proper rest, sleeping maybe 3-4 hours a day. Like, I just felt like it wasn't sustainable. And I knew something had to give. So I started to weigh my options, like the benefits of each job, and you know, which one should I let go. Ultimately, I ended up deciding to let go of the one I had prior. Now, I think it's very important to practice what you preach. I held on to that job because I became comfortable with it. And I told you guys before that comfort can be very dangerous. It can be very dangerous because it will keep you from moving on to the next phase in your life. Now, granted, I had got a job way better than the job I had prior, but yet I was holding on to this job. Now, I do like to be productive throughout the day, but that was no excuse to put my body through that. And I started to realize, I started to become irritable, angry, frustrated, just off the thought of even going to this job. The reason why I was starting to become that way, it was because I was ready to move on. I was ready to move on, but I was holding on to something that I was comfortable with. Now, life is all about chances. And it's all about embracing the unknown. So sometimes you gotta take a chance on yourself. You gotta let go of everything that's comfortable. In order to get where you want to be, you don't have to hold on to old habits. It's very necessary that you let them go. Now, I began to sit here and I thought to myself, yo, what is all this for? Why am I working this hard? Now, as good as the pay was working both jobs, I realized I was working more than half the day. I was dedicating 13 hours to working. 13 hours. Now, if you stack on that, on top of the fact that I try to find time to record a video and then edit that video that day, that's probably a grand total of maybe 15, 16 hours. And then try to squeeze in some sort of rest throughout that day. That's not sustainable. So you got to be able to prioritize yourself. Sometimes your mind will tell you to keep going, but your body will absolutely let you know when it's time to take it easy. I think it was getting to the point where my body's starting to tell me it's time to let something go. So that's exactly what I did. Now, since doing that, I started to realize a lot of changes. I started to rest a little better. My body started to feel a little better. And it was all because I listened to my body. I was becoming mentally and physically exhausted. I knew it. I was tapped out. I wasn't giving my best performance, and I knew why. It was because at the end of the day, I wanted to let go. So I made up my mind, and instead of putting them first or putting that job first, I made up my mind to let it go and leave. The moral of this story is put yourself first. Because I guarantee you right now, as hard as you're working, and as much as you're trying to make an impression there, but God forbid if something happens to you, just remember that you're replaceable. You get one life. Maximize it. But maximize it in a way that it benefits you. Make sure your hard work is something that you can see, something that you built on your own. Because at the end of the day, no one in this world owes you nothing. Take care of you. Thank you for listening.